Aloha and welcome to the Rainbow Wrap Up. It is dark night where I am, and I'm sure the dark cloud may be hanging over from the game over the weekend. But before we even get into that, because we know that's what people are here to talk about, I'm going to bring on something that I'm much happier about, the panel and my boys that I get to talk to tonight, because at least they're going to be in the house and sharing their thoughts, and there will be plenty, so definitely stick around. But first I'm going to bring our man Sean Iman. What's going on, Sean?
What's up, every game, Wayne? What's up, Warrior Nation?
Oh man, the UNLV game though, I mean, I'm still glad I was there. At the end of the day, thank you, Sean, every game, because there's nowhere else I would have rather been when the time went out, even though a chair almost was broken. Anyways, back to the next.
Vegas. It was Vegas.
Yep.
We got the man in the house finally. He's so hard to get down. He works extremely hard in his life. He has a very kind wife who also lets us pull him away. It's brother Shane Agno. Welcome to the show.
What's up, brothers? Yeah, I missed you guys the past couple weeks, but always a pleasure to hang out with my brothers. Talk about what we love the most, about our Hawaii football, Hawaii athletics in general. So thanks for having me, my man.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
But now that we have brother Shane in the house, and of course, Sean, it's going to be a very robust conversation because we have been now deep enough into the season where we know what the finish is going to look like. And when we started off the year, I said that I was extremely optimistic, and I was right about that. I wasn't right as, the two of you were in terms of what our final record would be, but we're hoping that we can at least finish off with the record that Sean had predicted, and which was 6-7, which wouldn't be a bad season, but not that what we, not that not the outcome we had expected. But we're gonna just talk about this UNLV game. Sean, just what are your immediate thoughts? What are your first when you come away from that game and somebody's like, "Wow, what happened? I saw the score." What would you say?
The first play was great, and then you can just flush the rest of the game down the toilet. I think we got to bring up Todd Graham at this point. Like, a lot of people are not very happy with what's going on. The perception. I was watching the game. I didn't go up for the game, so I went to Big City Diner, and I was sitting with some pretty well-known fellas and just getting their commentary on, what was happening when they would go 3 and out over and over again. And after the play was over, all the guys like Chevin, they would just walk right past Bo, and there would be no interaction, no eye contact, no nothing. And it really just struck me that there's such a disconnect. And to me, it's unacceptable. When June was here, good or bad, whenever the quarterback would make a play, walking off the field, June was always there waiting for him to give him feedback, to tell him what he thought. And I'm just what are we doing? This offense can't even score 20 points. And if you can't score, you're not going to win games. So there's a lot of people like myself, like you guys, that are not very happy with the offense and the offensive coordinator right now.
Shane.
Yeah, I agree. Like how Sean said, how can you go first play 79 yards and then the rest of the game can do nothing? I don't understand. And the disconnect. If you guys notice Bo on the sideline, and when the offense comes off the field, he doesn't talk to Cordero. He doesn't talk to his players. He just stands by himself, by his lonesome self, looking at his plays, doing whatever. He doesn't coach the players, and I don't understand why. Aren't they allowed to talk? Is college different than pros? You know how when you see pros and Russell Wilson or whoever comes off the field, they immediately go on their iPad, right? And they talk to the coach, like, hey, see what's going on here. But Bo Graham doesn't do any of that, and I don't understand why. The whole game, he doesn't coach his players. I don't get it. I really
if
don't
he's
get
gonna
it.
do that, he should just be up in the box. If he's
Yeah.
not gonna talk to the players, he should just be up
Mhm.
there calling plays.
Exactly.
Just my opinion.
Exactly. So I don't understand that. I don't understand. And we all know we're not coaches, yeah, but as passionate fans, we're also not stupid. We know enough about the game to know what might work and what might not work. And also the coaches, I know they're not stupid because they wouldn't be
Exactly.
working for a Division One program if they were stupid. But 4 running plays in a row when you're down by 7 with 3 minutes left, it does not make any sense at all. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, I'm not a coach, but he could have called a little bit more creative. Even if you're going run,
we were calling the plays
a
at Big City Diner.
Running plays.
We were just calling them to the right, to the left, you know,
up the middle.
Just
I was like, oh man. So, and you got Calvin Turner, who's obviously the most talented player, like, you know, and you don't even get him the ball. I don't understand. It was, why not just use Wildcat already if that's the case, or whatnot. But you know, like Reardon just wrote. I was just reading the article before we went on tonight about how with any football team, there's 4 people that always get the most criticism. It's the head coach, the OC, the DC, and the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because they're the most high profile people. And right now, I mean, the defense is good, but I don't know. Even Cordero, I don't know his decision
good at times.
The past. I don't know if he's having enough. I know the offensive line hasn't been performing like they should either, but those interceptions, he threw off his back foot, and it's just hard. It's tough to watch, man. It's really tough.
He's better than this.
Yeah. So to be fair, so I'm looking over Mountain West statistics. We are, where do you think we are in terms of average yards per game, which I think is a pretty decent barometer of how productive your offense. Where do you think we rank?
Second to the last.
I think we're like, I think I saw that, and then it was like we're kind of like high up there, huh?
We're 6th,
like 3rd or 4th.
6th, 6th. 6th in yards per game. So
is that in conference or all games?
If Bo was here right now, he could say that, and that would be fair.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. That's
so fair. I'm gonna throw that in for him right now.
But would Bo talk to us though?
Well, that doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, you want to be. Well, I'll be balanced for him because we're gonna approach this from a logical. Obviously, like what we're game management isn't as not ingrained. Those yards didn't always come in the right time. Those yards, so that is not in those. That's what I'm saying. That's just one metric.
But the defense got 3 turnovers in the first quarter and turned that into 3 points.
Exactly. Not everything is going to be based, but I'm saying, like, you can, before we have a Bo as a fest against him, we have to say, be honest, like, these guys are going to use these stats to, and this is what coaches do, to be able to defend their position. So, I mean, just for Bo, you know, he's as offensive coordinator, his offense is, you know, the 6th most productive in the league, which is, you know, above Boise State even by 1 yard. Given that they played one more game, maybe that could change, but it's the average. So, you know, averaging more yards than Boise. That, I mean, just saying that alone doesn't say the story at all. But I'm saying this is why sometimes we can justify jobs like this, which we haven't talked about yet, as Bo getting this job. Because would Bo be an offensive coordinator at any other school?
Hell no.
No, I agree. I don't.
Only
think so
Daddy
either.
hires them.
Would any other school allow their head coach to hire their son as offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I
If-
think there would be, but they have to have a lot more better experience or a better performance record than this
Exactly.
bowl.
So
Yeah.
what any other school allow this this pretty nepotistic move? Oh, okay, it's Hawaii because that's where we allow these things to happen. It's permeates our our world. So the rest of us who just have just everyday parents, which are hardworking and wonderful, but it's not as easy to be able to reach certain levels. There's
Mhm.
only 130 FBS offensive coordinator jobs. You have to be one of you should be a pretty advanced offensive mind at least to be in one of those jobs, given that there's only that many. I mean, to be an offensive coordinator at high school, you have to be pretty knowledgeable these days. You should have a higher than Pop Warner IQ of the game at least, but the game is very nuanced and complex, and it has to be
that doesn't fit the
foundational.
description of Hawaii's offense right now.
Yeah.
We haven't scored 20 points in over a month. So
Yeah,
the crap is
if
hard
we
to
look at
watch.
scoring,
Garbage.
okay, so scoring, where do you think we rank in scoring?
Oh,
Oof,
we
that
score
I
about
don't think so
27,
good.
27 points a game, don't we?
We average 26 now. So where do you think
Yeah.
that is?
Ugh.
It's 7.
So I want 7.
Okay, so I mean, then that's still the teams under us are teams that two teams that we lost to, UNLV and San Jose State, and two teams we're gonna play, Colorado State and Wyoming. So this is a chance for us, I will say, to sneak out wins. We're averaging more points than these teams that we're going to play, the last two teams. I mean, we lost UNLV, who still averages less points. UNLV averages 21.5 points per game, and they beat us. But Colorado State and Wyoming averaged about 22 points each. So there's a chance that we could sneak in and finish the year 6 and 7. And if we won the last two games and we did well on offense, all of this could go away, possibly.
Are you still drinking the Kool-Aid, Wayne?
No, I'm just saying, nonetheless, the only thing that won't change is the fact that Bo's hiring, and the reason that we have him, because let's face it, he's probably, I mean, we don't know his salary, but I'm assuming he's not expensive because, and shouldn't be.
We don't pay our assistants nothing. So,
well, we don't really know.
and-
I mean, we don't know a lot of this stuff. So you can pay, the head coach can do whatever he wants with the salaries and get who he wants and take some of his own salary. And that there's precedent being that done. Other coaches
he's
have
over
done
100K, right?
other
You would
coaches.
imagine. I mean, he's an offense.
Oh, I
offensive
mean, if he's that
coordinator.
high, we could have got other people, in my opinion, for 100K.
Mm.
But I mean, he
I
might
don't
be. No. I mean, I'm saying, like, if you want to look at the average with Mountain West, I'm sure. Let's see, Mountain West. I don't know if they have that because I don't know how many other schools. I don't know how many other schools allow
I
the
think
data to be released.
This is a deeper issue. Like, I think you can take issue with the configuration of his entire staff. A lot of it doesn't make a lot of it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
You've
sense.
got Abraham Elamimian coaching running backs.
Backs.
You've got like a grad assistant, a glorified grad assistant who's the defensive coordinator. Like, what the the strength and conditioning coordinators, like the assistant head coach. Like, what the hell is this? Like,
I mean, it's different. And the thing is, Coach Graham is not doing anything wrong. I mean, he was hired to do this, to do his it's his program. When you put the keys in his hands, it's his program. But as the Overwatch in the administration, it is puzzling why we allow this to happen in the first place. It's like saying we're okay with it. The school, it's not like those things still have to be approved at a level by the administration. It's just like, oh, well, this is going to be this and this is going to be that. Unless they give them complete autonomy over that, all of that, which I doubt, or there shouldn't be. Maybe they do, just and just because nothing is like codified in a way where it says like the AD must oversee every single personnel move. But for sure, as an administrator over the football team, you better know where the money is going, how it's being divvied up. First of all, the assistant salaries, where people are best placed. So for Todd Graham at first, you know, he first of all, he could say something like this: I'm the 8th highest paid coach in the Mountain West. So when that being said, I don't have as much, you know, leeway in terms of what I have left from my assistants. But then we had people like Norm Chow and Rolovich who didn't surpass the 600K mark. So why couldn't we say, oh, would you pretty please take 600K like your predecessors? And maybe we can spend that 200K more on assistants, better assistants. You have a really nice house. Yeah, we know that, Sean. I'm just saying, like, so you guys, so we can talk about how it would go at the other schools, because we're letting this happen at our school, Sean. And the fans do. We have a really weak fan base when it comes to knowledge of how things work in NCAA. Fan base as a whole. I mean, you have me here to clear things up, but you also have people who haven't been around. I've been in the back. I've been in NCAA office. I've been on committees. I've been all of these things. I look like a child, but still, I was on these things for a long time. And knowing how administration works, knowing how the relationship with coaches is, it's more complicated, definitely at the Power 5 level than it is our level, but it's still complicated, and it's still something that is still run by very antiquated notions, right? Like, if you worked here, therefore you are this, right? Like, we label people like, you are a power. Someone has been labeled as a Power 5 head coach. Who is that right now? The guy that we have. That's what people are saying, right? He coached at Arizona State.
Oh,
What do you think he led off with in his interview? I mean, that's what I'm saying. We were already blinded by that, but who made him that? Somebody who hired him at Arizona State. And he didn't have a terrible record at Arizona State. It wasn't like a bad tenure as a Pac-12 head coach. But it's like he already bought himself into a class where he has to be compensated a certain amount that is going to, you know, it's like he probably does have an agent, or at least a lawyer that's working with him. I mean, they're going to be looking at how you are comparable to your conference, at least. And that's why I always bring things back to Mountain West. We don't, and right now, Allegiant Stadium is in the Mountain West. So that's something we're going to talk about later on, because you follow my Twitter. We already had some fun there. But Coach has money. I mean, he's not that. So he either really believes in his son and doesn't have, you know, after this year, he can say, I can evaluate after this year. And that's fair as well.
He's not going to do nothing. He's not, he refuses to answer any questions about the offense.
Yeah.
He sidesteps it.
Yeah.
The media has asked him about the offense, about Bo.
I'm sure they've been super strict with it too. I'm sure they've been pushing him as well, super hard.
Because
here's the thing is we're gonna have Todd Graham as our head coach for the next 2 years, because UH ain't got the $1.6 million to buy him out. So whether you like it or not, Todd Graham's gonna be the coach for the next 2 years, and I don't think he's gonna change Bo Graham. He's not gonna fire his son, and I think wherever Todd Graham goes after the 2 years, because make no mistake, we're not going to be able to afford him after those 2 years. UH can't pay $800K. They're going to have to go way down after all this stuff.
I mean, they'll be willing to, whoever is in charge will be, they're not financially, they're not, I don't understand what's going on there. It's so political, Sean. It's more than, they don't have to follow like the rules like you and I. Like, put it that way. They don't. And it's unfair, but that's how it is over there. And it's no accountability. But you're right. I think the administration is willing to put whatever they need to keep floating as much. Like, I'm talking about the senior administration, like the president of, like, Lassner. I think he would not want to see a Division I football. Like, seeing him at stuff. I've seen him at so many games. So I know that he cares about the program.
I honestly think that going forward, wherever Todd Graham coaches after the University of Hawaii, it will be written into his contract that you are not allowed to hire your son as anything. That's my opinion. I think he is that detrimental. Wherever Todd Graham goes after this, his son will not be allowed. it will be a stipulation by the university, whoever fires him or hires him.
I mean, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But
Yeah,
once
yeah,
again, he has
probably.
privilege. He has privilege, Sean. Like we're letting these things happen to us, Sean. So of course, other things, there we
Well, I mean,
and
don't
he's
you-
going to have it on, and he won't get accountable. Okay, first of all, let's say what happened already. We talked about the Arizona? Did we bring up what happened with Bo at Arizona State?
No. Yeah, he
So
was
Bo-
he was dismissed. He
As
was dismissed for messing around with a co-ed, which is a big no-no.
wouldn't that be a
So-
hindrance for certain people to get hired again as offensive coordinator? Wouldn't
That
you think?
people are even taking issue with his resume. They're saying that he might
No,
not-
exactly, Sean. You're missing the point. Did he get hired, Sean? He got hired, Sean.
Absolutely.
We let
Yeah.
it happen, Sean. Stop. We let it happen already. You. That's the annoying part. It's like you Hawaiians, you local people, you Islanders, you don't freaking know better. This is a island wide mentality thing. Who knows better? People on the mainland know better than us, of course. They're smarter. They know more. We do this unaccountable and do what they want to do. And
Yeah,
that's a
but-
history of Hawaii.
So if Bo Graham is retained as offensive coordinator, I think there's a direct correlation with the number of season tickets that will be purchased next year.
Oh,
Because ain't nobody
Sean,
no-
people
this-
we're already done with season
I
tickets.
know.
Have already
this-
gone down for years, Sean. Like
a
that's what I'm
sub-
saying. Get off
sub-
the Bo Graham thing is annoying, and I know you're big on it, but that's what I mean. Like don't lose track of the fact that even if Bo Graham's, who's going to be next, Sean? Who's
But
Todd
that's-
going to bring in
that's
next?
But that's the thing.
His
is
other
we're-
son?
We're stuck.
You're
We're
gonna bring
stuck.
his. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't, and they're not gonna just put into a contract that like you cannot hire a son. That's not how. It's just not gonna happen. I know what you're saying. But I'm saying like the issue is bigger is that we let it happen, and the fact is we already at a place that it's hard to go backwards because we already talked about we're losing fans a long time ago, but now we've already lost fans already. Anyways, that it's not enough that and honestly. Bo can still have a solid reason, and so can his dad at saying why Bo should keep his job for next year, especially if if we lose, even if we lose the last two games, I don't see it. Like you said, he doesn't answer questions about it anyway.
Yeah.
So
He's just gonna say we're gonna move some things around. We're gonna coach him up, and we're gonna get better next year. You know, I
Yeah,
can
he does
already
it.
hear it.
I know it's
Like,
annoying.
Drink some Texas tea. Like
Even like the whole season, I think I've only seen Bo Graham like interviewed like once.
Yep.
He doesn't really talk to the media. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear what he has because
Yeah.
on Dave Reardon's article, Dave Reardon requested to interview him, and he said he wasn't available. And Todd Graham said he evaluates his son as if he would evaluate any of his workers who might or do work for him. So like,
Yeah. First of all, he should have. So the point. First of all, to Todd Graham, he shouldn't have been hired in the first place. That is the point. Before what he did this year, because you could hire a 15-year-old and they could. I mean, I'm not saying that he's at that level. I'm just saying like anything can happen once you get to the game. You can call whatever kind plays because you're right. We're seeing a lack of a pattern or a lack of understanding of what even is the fundamental underlying philosophy of this offense. We still don't even know. And that was from last year carried on into this year.
well,
but-
that's the.
But
Wait.
Bo is not going
Oh.
anywhere as well if
Yeah,
he is
exactly.
able to even squeak out this season at where he is statistically. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't need he's shielded by privilege, not even having to go to the media, which is on to me not that's something in terms of how small our island is to it and keeping that relationship. I think it's something that is a bad move on their part in terms of just the perception if you're going to avoid being talked to. But so I don't agree with that. I think he needs to face the fire. But he also in private could be said, or even in public could be said of him that it's his first year and he deserves this chance. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When all these platitudes come out, we know that it's not just the statistics. We know it's game control. It's game management. It's positioning on the field and scripting. It's a lot of things more than that. But it might not be easy enough. I don't think he should have been hired in the first place, like I said, and I think he's done enough to me that proven that he probably shouldn't do the job anymore. Period. From the rest of the year, in my opinion. I'm with you, Sean. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying like what's frustrating, and I know you're getting frustrated because I'm frustrated, Sean, because I'm seeing the same pattern over and over again, Sean.
Are you talking about
every year we
Bo?
have something. Talking about Bo, Sean.
Okay.
I'm in the same position as you, but what I'm annoyed with is that people like you, don't see the same patterns as Hawaii freaking fans every year when it comes to something that we allow to have. Even when June Jones was here, remember we used to say like, wow, we really let June take control of this, take control of that, change this and change that. And he definitely overstepped a lot of what other coaches would do, but we let him do it because we trusted him. But it was June Jones. He could be trusted.
June knew what he was doing.
Exactly. So why would we invest and give the keys to somebody and say, do whatever you want when we don't even know you? First of all, we don't even know you. We don't know her. It's like the people like, we don't know her, but we're going to just give you the keys to the program and be like, here, carte blanche, like do what you want to do. Even though you're not, that's what I'm saying. That's the annoying part. And that's why I'm saying it's frustrating because it's like a pattern.
1.6 million saying double dog dare you to fire me.
Yeah, so, it's not happening. Like you said, it's not happening. And Bo, and look, he could get better. Bo could get better. His numbers could get even better. And if they did, it wouldn't show the reflection that we know because it's more than that.
And then, but like looking forward to next season, like we hear these whispers about a mass exodus of players transferring out. And like, what does this do for like the selling point for next season? You know, I think that coach is really set on his Texas on creating that Texas pipeline, that Midwest or South Midwest, wherever, guys that he can get like that he's familiar with, because that's what he knows. Like Coach Graham, I'm not even like fully. He's doing what he was hired to do. Like I don't know, he's doing but he's overstepping. In my opinion, when you place your son as an offensive coordinator, I think that was an overstep already, especially with a weak resume. But that's a symptom of an unhealthy program that we already know lacks culture, a true culture of a Division I football program. Because other schools, what's a part of the culture is being critical of your program and not being seen as being a bad fan. Like, I mean, first of all, I don't worry about being critical and being seen a bad fan. I go to every game, which no one else does. No one in the history of our team has ever done. There's no one that is even in my level in terms of game attendance. So I can say what I want. I'm never going to miss a game because of my chemical imbalance to keep going and watching games and being totally obsessed with this team. So no one's doing what I'm doing. So of course, if there's anybody that I can say what I want, because I go to every game anyways. But it doesn't mean that I enjoy it, because we all are fans of other teams too with culture. Oh, it seems weird. It's like there's this professional team that has a club in Hawaii and they even meet monthly and they have a president that works really hard for them and he meets almost daily with his members. I think they're the Seahawks. Man, what a culture that is, right? With fans. They even have a number that represents them. They even have a flag that people
a mascot
that even comes all
donut.
Wow, how awesome is that to be a fan? How many people would want to be a fan of the Honolulu Seahawkers before they'd be a fan of UNH football? And I'm being honest. If I was starting from scratch, I'd be like, man, I'd rather go with Sean to Agave and Vine and watch the Seahawkers play and the Seahawks play, and hang out with the mascot. And hang out with other people wearing the jersey like me, and then maybe traveling with them to the mainland.
That's the culture thing with Hawaii. The fans in Hawaii, they put so much love and passion into their pros teams, and like, bro, you get your own UH football team here. You guys don't even give a shit about them. You know, it's like, bro, it's like, see what's happening here.
But it's hard because the thing that I like about the Seahawks is it's well run. Things make sense. When I contrast with UH, it's easy to root for the Seahawks because it's done the right way. You contrast that with UH and it's just dysfunctional. And I see that. And you can try to tell me that it's not, but that's what I see. And that's the challenge in being a UH fan.
Yeah, totally.
And,
if we were experience.
And that's why I'm saying you two You two have been like you're old for I'm not saying calling them out because they have more age
We
and
are
years
older
on
than you.
them.
Yep.
But
we are
I
older
mean,
than
like
you.
that's what's even I respect about the two of you. You've been going longer than me. You guys have been going to the field longer than me, than I have even. And your family has been in it longer than I have. And so and you know, my grandparents are like your grandparents, probably around the same age, but you know that is we are descendants of them. We are their lineage. So why did they go in the first place? What drew them? And it really was just that identity. You know, I was reading, I don't know what it was in terms of, on our website in terms of our history. And you know how many times our program is funny that we were dropped, even at that years that we didn't have football. Even I think one year we had times that when we first got Division 1, they dropped us down. You know, like we went through periods
Reclassified. Yeah.
of reclassification. We went through periods of even like crazy pilikia that happened within our athletic department that caused us to not even have a team sometimes. But for some reason, people still rallied and then went to Honolulu Stadium. And then the governor said, you know what, like I'm seeing 17, 18,000 people. Like I'm envisioning a 50,000 seat stadium. And then they built it. And then 50,000 people came and a lot came for a long time. And then, like I said, I posted something recently on Twitter yesterday about how was it Dave Reardon or Fred Lewis's article from 10 years ago to the day.
Oh yeah. I saw
10
that.
years ago to the day.
About the dwindling attendance, right?
About dwindling
Yeah.
attendance hurts UH budget 10
Yeah.
years ago. Or it was 50% better back then than it is now. Yes. The scary thing is what happened in the last 10 years that not only did we not pay attention, but like we didn't even call it out anymore. Like we just stopped. That's why I'm saying, like, yes, Bo is going to bore more people, but he's only going to bore the people that are already here that are paying attention, and that's already dwindled. Not worried about.
That's not much.
That's not much already. Shout out to our Brad, my boy Brad, our boy Brad, and you know, Brad is always, you know, talking about like you know, I don't even know where I was going to go with this, but a shout out to Brad anyways, because he is one of our top supporters, and go follow him on Oahu Sports Fans. But you know, we just, it's just the cultural part of it, and it comes with like when we used to go to the stadium as kids. And Brad, well, speaking of Brad, I remember the game that he first drove us to the stadium, and I remember thinking like I was like the coolest thing ever, and we were like 15. I was 15, I think. He was 15. I think this was 16 and 16 or something like this. I think 16. And I remember like being like, man, this is finally, it's my turn to drive to the stadium. And then like it was like, you know, it was just about that tradition. I mean, we're talking about the same team now as we're talking about those days when we drove to the stadium, which is really something we have to realize to reflect on the fact that how much we've changed, and the loss of Aloha Stadium is going to affect a lot. And that's
speaking of
fine.
the stadium, though, did you guys see the thing today? They're not going to start busting them down till 2023, and they're estimating 20 years completion time.
Oh my god.
I was like, okay, 20. So I was like, 20 years is gonna be more like 50 to 100. Don't say 20 years. I'm not stupid.
I mean, it doesn't help that this is the same day they talk about the rails and the wheels are too narrow. I mean, this is Hawaii, but that's why I'm saying, like, culturally, Sean, that's the most frustrating. We grew up in this culture. We're still experiencing it. That's what needs to be called out. The foundations of what we're living on, and we're taking advantage of, because all of our grandparents and our parents and then us went to the stadium, and we just lockstep because, hey, that's what we do because local people, we got to support the team. Go Bows. And then it's just us now, Sean. Like we know who's there. We know who's freaking around us now. We like know people's names, most of the people. Like it's like, and like I love that. I really love that part that we've gotten more intimate. But it's also sad. Like, I mean, going to the Legion, honestly, that was the first time being around so many UH fans that, first of all, didn't know who I was, which was good because they're not around enough games to see me at all the games, you know. But it was cool to see. I was like, man, I can't wait till we get numbers like this again, where it's, I mean, I was still pinned. Like I barely didn't see any of the second half, honestly. I only saw the last drive, the second half. People kept pinning me in the freaking club area on the Legion where we were sitting, like talking to random people. Like there was still too many people there for my ability to watch the game. So I didn't get to see a lot of art collapse, but I was kind of monitoring it.
You didn't
Um,
miss much.
But what was cool, yeah, but what was there, but like the people are still there. It was cool to see that spirit. So it's still in there, right? Like even like, seeing how people were still waving tea leaves and like bringing back traditions that may have dwindled a lot in recent years. Like we don't the tea leaf thing
Well,
has
I
kind of
mean,
gone down. But
what
so
does that
it's
say
still
that
there.
that's on the road? That's on the road, and there's
Yeah,
more culture
that's
on the
true.
road
Yeah, yeah.
than there is at your home stadium. What does that tell you,
It
H?
tells
I
us
know.
that we need to have all our home games at Allegiant. I don't know.
You're not doing your job. I
No
know.
ways.
but like,
That would never work. But
but
and I
like,
think, yeah,
but like
keep
you
going, Shane.
guys said, it's like how you guys keep saying, we lost our identity.
Yes.
We don't even know what our team is anymore. And like even a big thing about the culture of our Hawaii football experience was tailgating. So just the fact that we can't tailgate anymore, I can say like 15 of my friends don't go to the games because we can't tailgate. They rather just
Yeah.
barbecue at my friend's house, watch, you know what I mean? It's just, I know it seems silly, but for me,
It's not
tailgating
silly.
is
Silly.
part of the football experience. And when you
Yes.
take that away, fans gonna get turned off. I'd rather just throw barbecue in my house and watch them.
But
So-
they're gonna say things like this to you, Shane. They're gonna say like, "Well, on the mainland, there's less parking," or on the mainland, like, this is how it's going. Like, how do you respond to stuff like that?
Yeah, that's the mainland though. This is Hawaii. Hawaii is a different market. You need to build around your fans and what your fans want, not what you guys think will work.
Yep. And
So,
that's the frustrating disconnect, because things are being jammed down our throats that are not even in concert with like who we are as local people. And that starts with Coach Graham. And this is not personal against Coach Graham. I want to say this first of all. I love Auntie Penny, like his wife, Auntie Penny. I mean, I've been able to get to know her at least, and she is, been very kind to a lot of fans and very open with, how nice she is, showing her aloha. And she is still learning. And I really believe that in terms of our culture, and I really believe that she has a desire to learn more about us. It's hard to start that way though. Like we need cultural fits, and we've had, like if we look into the history of Hawaii, not to bring up how since, annexation, a certain race has run everything in Hawaii, but literally every coach came from the mainland. And you'll say, well, obviously, because football was played on the mainland, but for a century now, local people have gone up the ranks, and I have some of them that we know were on our staffs before, like the Lees. We can just name names over the years, and we've definitely are ingrained in even the most innovative offenses now in Hawaii. So we have cultural fits at every and scattered across Hawaii. And I'm just talking. So I'm just focusing on the coaching right now, and that's why Coach Graham was a risky hire, anyways, because culturally he's just not a fit. And the fact is, I'm not sure now. I know that Auntie Penny is trying really hard, but I don't know how hard, Coach Graham is in terms of, and I don't know how much a priority it is for him to localify himself. Like, is it a priority to him? I know that he respects our culture. Absolutely. I know that as an educator, as somebody that, appreciates culture, I think he is somebody that respects us, but I don't know if he's that fit. And that's why it goes back to Shane, that everything, that's the mainland. This is Hawaii. That needs to be applied to everything, every part of how we do business in Hawaii. And it doesn't mean like we disavow anything that goes on in the mainland. No, we take the strengths of who we are that makes us different.
Exactly.
And we leverage those strengths.
Dick Tomey was from the mainland.
Yeah.
Bob Wagner was from the mainland. They assimilated, and there's just something different.
No, and I'm saying like you're right, and the fact is they had tenures where they also saw so many coaches start to branch off, like also within. And so speaking of Bob Wagner, who I would consider local in my opinion, as a local guy who gets it, who gets what it means. Like he's still an Ohio guy too, obviously, but he does. We don't need to translate things to him, right? If we talk about local stuff.
Right.
So, and he had Rich Ellerson, right, be one of the first guys to go out. Like he already had a tree from Hawaii, and then obviously Paul Johnson. So all these guys though have that local tie as well that came through Hawaii instead. So I'm not just saying local people, obviously. I'm saying people that understand Hawaii and understand our culture and embrace it. Obviously, Rolo did from the beginning. Rolo was wearing lei, live aloha, play warrior. Obviously, Rolo also played at Hawaii, so he is special to Hawaii in a lot of ways and will always be. And maybe not for everyone, but I think in my opinion, he'll never lose his place in Hawaii. And it might have changed a little bit, but Rolo absolutely earned his spot in our lore as a Hawaii football, and he added to that culture and he created amazing memories. So I think that when he came, though, he knew that was going to be so important to talk about in the press conference, and that's what we mean. Rolo is from San Mateo, above the Golden Gate Bridge, Marin County, California. It's like he is not a local boy really in that way, but he has become one really in so many ways. And I mean, he can talk pidgin like anybody else, like really pretty good. So obviously, like Rolo, like that's something that really, right? Like that's always going to be something that I think we're always going to appreciate about him too. And that has nothing to do with what he played, how he coached, or how he played. It's how he said.
I appreciate the fact that he beat BYU both as a coach and as a player. So that holds tremendous weight with me. So
But when he came back as a coach, he didn't say, "Hey, I'm the guy who threw all the touchdowns. You remember me?" He said, "Hey, I have a local wife and I never left." No, but I'm saying, like, what did he emphasize? Did he emphasize what he did at other schools, like a certain coach that came into this one right away? What was more important at his press conference? And even at Norm Childs as well, as a local boy. It was important to show how I'm a local fit for you guys. I'm a fit for you. I'm a fit for you. And we even at Graham's press conference, he didn't even talk about offense, which was the other thing we wanted to. He didn't talk about his local ties, which we were all confused about.
Yeah, he did. He said he was going to have a high scoring offense that averages like 40 points a game.
Well, he also said he was a defensive guy first. He said that every time he was asked about the offense.
Yeah, right.
He definitely downplayed offense. Let's be honest. From his opening press conference, he downplayed offense. Red flag.
Well, here we
red
are.
flag emoji. Exactly. Red flag emoji. Red flag emoji. Red flag emoji. So I'm saying, like, Sean, the signs have been there, but when everybody came in here, I was like, oh yeah, bad. But I was looking at this guy's resume. Oh man, I think he got him. Like, that's how Hawaii people are, and that's because we are nice, and we also are ingrained in us that people that from the mainland, we have to be very loving to them, like Captain Cook or something, until stuff happens, and that's how we are as local people. That's just how we are.
Makahiki season is over. So.
Wait, the time of sacrifice is done.
Well, this is the thing. Rolo and June, and I think this is a knee-jerk reaction by the Hawaii fan base. Whenever we get rid of the run and shoot, you bring in this kind of offense that stalls, people freak out. With Chow, with Von Oppen, like they get this, knee-jerk reaction, like, oh my gosh, get rid of this right now. We need the run and shoot.
Are they wrong? Are they wrong?
I'm part of the party that likes the run and shoot.
Exactly. We're a part of the party that likes winning, Sean, and we always win with the run and shoot.
And it's been my observation that if you score more points than the other team, then you win. Especially
at our level with our talent. And this goes back to how we run offenses. Look, NFL pro style offense, quote unquote. Yes, they always stay pro style because gimmicky, quote unquote, things get picked up by high level defensive people. And the NCAA, you can keep throwing things in. You can have tiny players. You can have whatever, small, tiny, whatever. But that's Hawaii. That's exactly like if we had Calvin running the same routes as John, I think, running and had Marner be able to run more screens, be able to even, I don't know, take a shovel pass up the middle. I don't, just some stuff that June would have run with it. These
Yes.
guys,
Yeah,
I think we
keep
would have.
talking. I like where you're going with this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, if we reimagine the run and shoot with even the personnel that we have right now, I think we would be successful. Especially because Shevin has been running run and shoot since what, 7th grade?
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I
You know,
mean,
exactly. Hello.
Shevin's crying at the press conference. Like, he is better than 11 touchdowns and 9
Yeah.
interceptions.
No, and he's much better.
Better than this. He's totally regressed in this. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I that's why I don't blame Shevin as much. I definitely blame and also the coaching turnover too. Always having that new coaches has been hard, but we were just, and that's why when Rolo left, it was extra painful, and I cried when Rolo left. I'll tell you right now, I was really sad to see him go because
I was bummed.
I thought that this is where this always happens to us when it's time for us to go to the next level or really crack forward. And I thought Rolo really could win us a Mountain West Championship. I believed it. And then I knew we were going to start from scratch.
Do you believe we can win a Mountain West Championship with this stuff?
No, not right now. No,
not right now.
Absolutely not. No, of course not.
Are we getting our money's worth?
No.
Have we ever gotten our money's worth? First of all, but I mean, like, at least McMacken had the run and shoot, and it's like he made all the most money, but he was smart enough to just keep what June had going. And then we decided that we're gonna go for Norm Chow, and his style of offense had already soured kind of by that time. But
I had a friend that took a picture with Norm on the airplane coming home from Vegas.
Yeah.
So, Norm's alive and doing well.
Oh, okay. Well, I did see him at the crack seed store. I saw him.
But
at
he's
the
actually a very nice nice man. Yeah, he's very nice. Very
totally.
personable.
Everybody that we've hired though is nice. That's why I'm saying we're not. This is even Todd Graham is extremely nice. I would imagine him being like a nice dude that you would talk to, somebody to have a conversation with. But the conversation we want to have is, like how are you assimilating yourself even more to us, because that's important. Like what we said about Bob Wagner and Dick Tomey, who are island legends, right? Like my grandma's still talking about Dick Tomey, when she, like when as old people would forget the name of it and use an older name, she would always revert to Tomey. So I know that was the era for her. It's like Shoji Tomey. Well, Shoji lasted for so long that it was like she knows Shoji was going to be the coach, but she'd be like, "Oh, the kind Tomey is like, well, a few regimes have happened since Tomey, Grandma." Oh yeah, the other guy. It's like, but he's so. What made him so beloved was more than the success. It was how he embraced who we were. Yes. That's why I don't. That's why what Rolo did, he didn't need it. That's not even that is a part of, he earned his way, like you said, beating BYU twice. He earned a spot. But what made him special to a lot more people, even if they were casual UH fans, is that he was one of us in a lot of ways. And they're like, oh, his wife, like his having local roots, like that's so important. People talk about that with every hire at UH, but we've seen that less and less with this administration. The importance of having local roots. That's not an important thing. And that is a very obvious thing with the hires that we've had.
To the coaching staff's defense, I understand we're in a pandemic and we got all these restrictions. So I give them that. Yeah. Cause if everything was normal, who knows, maybe he would be having barbecues at his house with all the team there and just having more events outside, getting to meet people, but
who would be invited? Would the entire staff be?
No,
would the entire staff be invited?
So one thing that I on Twitter that I brought up in terms of, and I brought this up with you and with Coach Graham, is like you said, if he can't go out there and see everybody, he should call them up. I'm being very honest, especially with people who said no to season tickets in 2022, and if they had season tickets from way before, call them and ask them point blank why. And no local person is going to blow you off, because once again, we are the nicest freaking people in the world. So we're going to let you trample all over us before we say something. So, and we've already let the trampling begin as fans. So why not throw us a bone by, actually trying to connect with us in a way, and those season ticket holders, particularly, who have left. Like I said, I'm different. Like I'm gonna go to every game. I'll pay the $150. I'm like us is, we're into football too. Like we were going to be there. Ching Field, like I'm not going to belabor the point, needs a lot of work. It is the worst stadium in the Mountain West currently. And if that's going to be what we have next year, it's going to be the worst again even up to 15K, probably. New Mexico State. I've been to every state in the Mountain West as a fan, not just as people who sit in the press box or on the sideline, which I want to make the differential for, because a lot of press people like, I went here, like, no, I don't care if press people stand in the press box. They did not sit in the stands. They did not have that fan experience that I've had at every single Mountain West conference game and stadium. And I've done so in the last 4 years. I completed them all. But in the way that I've gone to every stadium, I at least saw stadiums. Okay, San Jose's is definitely one of near the bottom as well. But San Diego State's building a new stadium, and they used to be an NFL stadium. It's like Boise Stadium. You can see how they've built on it, and they're not embarrassed about the fact that they were a community college, because they're a junior college, but they're going forward because progress goes in one direction, not supposed to be going backwards. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's a harder to swallow, is because how are we going to pull off what Boise did now? Because if we jump by going down, it's so much harder than it was even back then. Like, you had to have vision, and they did. And their offensive coordinator or their athletic director actually got fired. What's his name? He was anyways, he had some local ties to Hawaii as well, but he took them from a junior college to a prominent, to the fumble Statue of Liberty against Oklahoma. Like, that is vision to do that, and really in the space of maybe 20 years, from junior college, where John Kawinana went to, from Mililani to Boise State, and back then. So it's like, we always have our connections. We can always find them as local people. Why isn't it important to our administration to also make that an issue when it comes to making hires, when it comes to shoving things down our throats, like Todd Graham, and who was shoved down our throats, who I still like as a human, and I love his heart, his family. They're very nice people, but he was shoved down our throats, and I accept it because I'm a fan of this program and I'm going to support. But it's obvious that this is a pattern. And vision and lack of thereof is one of the patterns too. So where are we going?
I have a question,
Sean.
I have a question. Are there more or less than 5,000 people?
Good question.
For the Colorado State game?
I'm going with the under.
Yeah.
After that game against UNLV, I get friends with tickets trying to ask, hey, you know anybody like go? Because they trying to find people
free?
that like go.
That sounds like, yeah.
Are they
I think
are they selling or are they taking for free?
No, he's not. Well, he said if nobody
I turned down
that
free
we
tickets,
know that like our friend group, like, hey, you know anybody that in our group that wants to go, like we have mutual friends. Nice. So he said, oh, if he cannot find anybody, then he'll let me know. He'll have extra tickets. But it's like, bruh, it's like after that UNLV game, it's like, right, people cannot even give the tickets away.
That's like, what I'm saying is you can't even give the tickets away now. So
like my friend was saying,
But hold a student section though.
The student section.
The student section. Let's beat that drum some more.
But if the tickets,
and that's the way that. But that's the thing. I think they could get over by allowing more students in. Which I think if they, it's funny because they don't care about the optics like that, because the optics always look bad. So often. How many times we've talked about this? Always a day late, $1 short, always behind the rest of the conference. So optics don't mean really a thing, especially if you're not being held accountable. Why even worry? But if they did worry about the optics of looking bad, which they didn't, right? You said, Sean, like you called them on Twitter about showing only certain photos and sections and particular students. Yeah. And like I was impressed by the student section. Of course, was that the story of attendance? No.
It was the only impressive thing at the stadium that night.
Yeah, it was.
Of course.
And it's like,
but if they're smart, they would invite more, is what I'm saying, to get over that 5,000. So if they do the right thing, I think they'll get over 5,000 because it's senior night, and I hope they let more populate the opposite.
They should encapsulate the whole stadium with a couple rows of student section at the very bottom.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
And if nobody's buying the $85, $75 seats, just discount them at the
Wouldn't you just give them to the students or the students you brought in, the Hawaii Rewards. Put them there.
Yeah, instead of just
let those people tell them to sit down. Tell them to not freaking.
That's not how we did it 20 years ago, though, fellas.
Because
No, you're right, Shane. You're so right, Shane.
That's the playbook we're running.
Because even my friend said, if they discounted it for $20 or $15, they're losing money. But geez, that's money you can still be making than not selling the ticket for $85 at all.
Well, I'll tell you what the philosophy. Sorry, Shane, and you're right, Shane. Like he's right. Shane does know a lot of people that would go, and he's already people that giving up stuff.
Yeah,
and that's why that is scary. If you're selling me that you have that many friends talking about the last game, saying they're not going. I didn't realize that. Yeah. I actually was pretty optimistic. I was like, come on, senior night, like. Don't we still love senior night? But
we're not connected to this team because of the pandemic.
Yeah, no, true.
We're not that.
No, but all of them were there in 29. Like nobody. Yeah, but we had 2 years. Yeah, I mean, everybody was there though. We didn't really lose anybody, so we've had, people. But I was hoping that tradition at least would be something that would still be important, like it used to be before, right? And senior walk night,
it's a big deal.
Would come. So I'm hoping, but I don't. I'm like you, or I don't. Now I'm scared too. If Shane is saying that, before.
It's so many times after we record this, I feel better. I feel like it's cathartic. I'm more pissed off now than when we started. And I really just.
Also, Sean, we love you the most. So you're the guy that can take it the most because you have to. First of all, you're our best prognosticator. Yeah. So
I got this game wrong though. I had us winning. And boy, was I wrong.
I had us winning too, man. Wasn't that like UNLV's second or third?
Well, this is the game I had us losing.
They won 2 in a row now. This is the game I had us
losing against College State.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when you're losing to trash UNLV.
Actually, maybe I had us winning. I don't know.
It's crazy, bro.
But, like what we said, we need to, for the stadium, I was going to tell you, Shane, first of all, I had us losing 31-37.
Oh, for the next game, Colorado
State. I had us losing 31-37. Shane had us losing as well, 20-38, and Sean had us winning 31-17. So that's good. I'm about to go the closest so far, Sean. So hopefully we're going to go on. We hope that you are
I'm kind of a glass half empty, and the glass is dirty too.
No, but that's the part of it, Sean, and that's why I'm you're doing good. Like we said, like doing something like this podcast, doing something like being vocal about what you say, and you already been that way. You got Sean's report card, you got doing all these things. You realize that it's dirty because as a fan, it's hard. You have to let your heart and your brain battle each other all the time,
exactly.
And that's not easy for us to do. That's hard for me to do. And it's hard for me to do about UH. As much as I gripe about UH, I love this team so much, of course. Like I would not want to be anywhere else in the world. I literally would have FOMO about this team if they're 0-12 and wasn't at the game in Laramie, Wyoming. Like I had one cloud in my head, like, why go? Like Laramie is hard to go to. People are kind of mean. It's going to be super cold.
Super freezing.
I can't even think about where else. I told myself, okay, where else would you go? And I was like, there's nowhere else. There's nowhere else in the world that I want to be.
I thought over there would be a little bit friendlier because like Southern hospitality.
Some of them were nice, but they were mean last year. Last year we had to go. And this is like third year in 4 years going to Laramie. I had to see Josh Allen over there.
Cowboys then.
Yeah.
But not everybody is, but I'm saying more and more they're becoming vocal, especially if we're losing, especially if we're getting blown out. It's like they're getting more me. Yeah, you can go watch my vlog. If anybody wants to watch my vlog from last year in Wyoming, you can see what it's like in Laramie. I would say go watch it again too and see the subtleties because I caught a lot of it on camera and people talking trash to me. Oh my gosh! Speaking of talking trash, Nevada, there was show people. I mean, Fuchsia had so many kids. Even kids were talking trash to her. It was even little girls, like in middle school, like mean girls, were coming out to her. I was like, wow, this is next level. Like people are hating on us, but at the end of the day, that's where I want to be. It's really an irrational thing, and I want to tell myself, like, Wayne, snap out of this because you have season tickets to 2 NFL teams, to your favorite MLS team. Partial to 2 major league teams. Like I have so many other things that I enjoy doing,
that you can do.
But UH football has literally my heart, and I'm married to it. And it's not something that I think I don't think it can last forever. I feel like there's a limit, but every time I say there is one, I'm like, no, I want to do this. Or I want like everything I do, and that's the 3 of us. I'm gonna emphasize this again. Like it's totally out of heart. Like this is a loss. financially to be for me at least to be a. I mean, I am spending money on things like hotel rooms in El Paso, Texas, like
Yeah.
stuff that like
Flights,
flights I buy, you know, it's like
food, yeah.
everything. Yeah, you know, and like
Yeah.
I love it. Of course, I'm enjoying myself. I don't say I'm not, but I'm saying like it's just different. And I'm saying
Yeah.
like it would be cool if like my team won all the time. What would that be
Yes.
like? Or going to conferences, being in a Power Five, or being in a
Mhm.
conference that at least was in a bunch of super cool places. Not that the Mountain West doesn't have those, but Laramie is not easy to just. And it's not like the people are bad or something. It's just it's a hard place for Hawaii and for Hawaii fans to be. But I literally am excited. You know, I'm like, gosh, I am gonna go back there. I'm gonna be like, but I'll be gonna be happy. So that's the battle, and that's what everything is at the heart of this sponsorless freaking podcast, because everything comes from heart, and that's what
That's
it
why.
is.
That's like I said, like how you said, is there's a limit sometimes, because after last Saturday's game, I was so frustrated. I was so
Mhm.
It's like I can't take it anymore. I can't take being a fan of this anymore. But then, 2 weeks, 2 days later, you just and like you said, like how I wrote on the page, the Warrior Nation
Mhm.
page, being a Warrior football fan takes a special breed of person.
It does.
We're special people, bro, because to constantly support and go and cheer and spend money and go to every game, take time out of your day to do this podcast, for me to find news to repost. It's like,
Mhm.
bruh. And then, but like you said, we love this team and we bleed green, and I'm gonna support till I die. And I know
Mhm.
my grandma's looking up at above, and she's like, "Yeah, that's what I would do too." Shane, go,
Of course,
keep going.
yes.
But it's like, like I hear you. Sometimes it's like a limit. It's like, oh, bro, I'm tapping out already. It's like, I'm done.
I don't mind losing if if we're like in it to the end and it's entertaining, but like we didn't
Yes.
what we saw this weekend, that's not it.
Oh, yeah,
So
that was
I know
bad.
there's nobody that wants to win more than the guys on that team and that coaching staff, and it's just
Yeah.
I really hope they can put it together this weekend.
Mhm.
And like, look at me, I'm freaking bright red, and like I'm just I need to chill out.
Well, Sean, thank
I'm
you for
serious.
letting us like you. I want you to bring it, because the one thing I look up to the two of it. I look up to the two of you. That's why I brought you. I wanted you guys to be a part of this. Like, you didn't have to be a part of this. You could have said no. You could have told me like you didn't want to. You know, you didn't have to be a part of this. So, but I specifically wanted both of you. I don't need to have any, like, I literally don't. Even if it was only the three of us that listened to this, that's okay. Like it
That's
it
good.
never is about anything else. It never is about anything else about just supporting. But as fans too, we need to take our next step, our kuleana, and realize that we have a responsibility to step up too, in terms of not just yes, if you want to donate to the team, I'm not going to say don't donate money. They need the money, but there are a lot of ways. What Shane reposting things, Sean reposting things, just taking the time out. There's so many other things to think about in the world, or like the fact that they both like the Seahawks. Not that the Seahawks are doing that. This year we're not going to bring it.
Oh, that's another one.
But there's a culture there though that is fun. Like Sean, you know, and I'm not going to belabor that, but I'm saying that culture is something that you're going to be a part of, and it's going to be hard for you to run away from that culture, because that's what the Seahawks did. Even the Seahawks the Seahawks have the best, ticket. They have the strongest ticket base because of how strong but that was something that Seattle did. They sucked them in and they gave them culture and they gave them, something. And that's what we want to see from our team. We just want to see us being given that same culture and having a vision that says the everyday fan, first of all, is important. Like us, none of us are rich. This might be a shocker. But the three of us are not. And to speak for Shane and Sean, we are not rich people. And I don't think I'm offending them by saying this either, because it's not like they're Shane and Sean are, guys that are going to be at games and can't afford to buy their own tickets, and they're supporting the team in many, many, many ways. So if anything, most of their money is going back into this program, but we're not at that level where we're going to be dropping money, Circle of Honor level money, or buying a whole suite. And that is it's sad, because that means we're not prioritized. And that's what it is. I mean, I'm not like surprised by it, but it would be nice to have a culture where they're like saying, hey, all of you, Even if you are sitting in the nosebleeds, like I had El Chibo on, I know our friend Travis. He posted, he's a season ticket holder of the University of Texas. He's a huge Hawaii fan. He's a Hawaii super fan, but he lives in Austin and became a UT fan. And just all the little perks that he's given for being a nosebleeder, for donating $50 and just being a part of something like that is amazing. For $50, how many of us would be like, yes, I want to be able to have access to this room before Laura Beeman's team goes out, seeing the Wahine pass me? How easy is something like that? Like literally, people would do that. Like I'm saying, like we need to get to that culture where we're saying the everyday fan is prioritized, and we can still extract money from you. Hey, how crazy is that? That if you build a strong fan base, they can still financially support you. And we talked about this too with 30,000 people, fans. Yes, and the thing is, I will say the budgets have changed, and also we've had the legislature also supplement us. So but the end of the day is those people exited. There was Hawaii out, exit out, and it's happening like Shane is talking about. And it's hard because people are hitting their limit, and it's scary to know, when is mine gonna come, or is it ever gonna come? Because there are times that I say, yeah, for sure it's gonna happen. There are times for sure that I'm personally, and this is not something that I am shy about, but I get personally attacked from things that from within the program as well. And I do get a lot of love, and I think for everybody, people who listen, people who come up to me and say hi to me at the games, I do appreciate that. But I didn't pay. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I just love this team. Like I literally am a season ticket holder of 2 NFL teams, and I've been to a very exclusive club of football attendees, and I make Hawaii football my greatest.
See, and you get more perks from the other things, like how you were saying how Travis gets the perks just for being a 50. Like they don't, like every time UH has a good idea, like before they gave the season ticket holders, oh come, you get the special day to tour the stadium, and that was like such a good idea.
Or to eat the food. You remember that? Remember when you could eat the food?
Special.
Remember you could go and eat the food at Aloha Stadium?
It made season ticket holders feel special. Now they don't give us nothing. Like the Colt Brennan night, they could have just made a cheap T-shirt that said "I was there, Colt." You know, just some kind of Colt in honor of Colt. Just a cheap T-shirt. Hey, we're gonna give you a free T-shirt, the Colt Remembrance T-shirt.
And honestly, you wouldn't even have to get a mass order. You're right, Shane. You wouldn't even have. You could have a local developer do something like that, a cheap rate.
Simple thing like that to make us feel special.
Yeah,
you know, it's like you guys don't even acknowledge. It's like I get perks. But it's not because I'm a season ticket holder. It's because I'm stupid, crazy loud.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's like
the school doesn't give me no special perk. It's other people that see me as a crazy fan. Like,
I you know you've made it when you get the free bento before the home game. Like I'm hoping to reach that level someday. I'm
hoping to reach that level. But you know, it's one of those things though that I think we need to, as responsible fans as well of this program, who we are, we can do next level. And I know, like, you know, Cheebs on Twitter, he talked about things that are going on in Texas that are, or at Boise, that are you know, outside run, fan group run. Of course, those same people also said, well, here at Boise, we have the administration supporting us. But we would also, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, it needs to be a priority from them first. And if it's not, then it's fine. Then we can just keep doing what we're doing, because we said we are long-suffering fans. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and then we'll just let it run its course, because this program is not on a sustainable track, in my opinion. I mean, I think we're on a track of at least demotion within and going down to FCS. And I want to say to people, you know, like I would hate to say that happened, but we would be better off. Really, it's probably a better fit for us at this point. And I hate.
If it's gonna take 20 years to build Aloha Stadium, then that's what.
It would be sad seeing like a team like Reno, seeing a team like Utah State, who is proud about the fact that they graduated from that level, and then being a team that goes back down. That's the difference. But those kind of programs had vision from the very beginning and foundational history. Every team that we play Every road game that I went to, name me one in the last 5 years, and I can guarantee you that we were out cultured by them. And I'm going to include
Oh.
Las Cruces, New Mexico, where I went to this
Oh.
year. Absolutely, they out
out-cultured.
cultured us. You walk in, you can buy a freaking cowbell, which they bring up the whole game, which is freaking annoying, but really cool and definitely a
And
home
it's
field
just a
advantage for them.
ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
And it has their thing on it. It's a part of their ag background. Like they are who they are. They ain't embarrassed. If you want to call them a freaking a hick, a cowboy, they don't care. Call them that, especially in there. I mean, like that's
Hey,
what we are. We're the
Wayne,
pokes, you know.
Wayne, you gotta want that cowbell.
I know. I got a
That's pretty
fever. I got a
cool.
fever. A rainbow fever. Remember with rainbow
Yeah.
fever? Rainbow fever was something that we tried to. Do you guys remember that in the 90s
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
tried to no, of course you guys were adults. All right, I'm kidding.
Nah, what? Nah, 90s.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
was in
saying no,
college,
but
yeah.
I mean, like you guys already even into your adult, even when you're buying tickets on your own already or going to games on your own, the culture was even different. I tell you about like the cards at 7-Eleven was a
Yeah.
part of our culture, even
I
like
love that.
like
I got them autographed.
yeah, and then you would take them to the game. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's all a part of like the cohesive like model of being able to retain fans and preserve a culture in which they all feel a part of. Like let's say Disney, I'm not even say out of sports, Disney has a bunch of freaking huge fans. I watch Disney music is a part of my heavy rotation, but it's like those people really, as much as Walt Disney spends on his, everybody feels like important as much as you spend. Everybody that walks in there always comes away like it was so magical. Like it doesn't matter because it's not only just like the rich people that need to go into the special parts of the kingdom and they still have those for the rich people, but it's not about that. It's about the everyday person and feeling a part of this culture and buying things, even if they're not at Disneyland, wearing whatever, being Jedis around, whatever they do. Like so many people are so into, like we know, like this, and
The
I'm just
experience.
the experience, so, but being a part of something, and we want, we wanted to be
Yes.
a part of something. So how
So
we go forward
on the
is
behalf of the three of us, we invite you to come and join us to send these guys out right. The seniors, come up, say what's up to us, tell us we're good, tell us we suck, whatever. Just come.
Yeah.
everything has been good. Everybody that has talked to us, and it's funny because so many people will come up to me and we'll shout out the coach because I know he's listening. He knows who he is. I want to call him out because let people keep their anonymity. But that's something I sacrificed a long time ago, and the three of us did. And it's a small island, so I don't feel like people should try and stay anonymous, anyways. But and what Sean is saying as well is like, let's create community amongst ourselves, like in real life, not just like on the message boards, not just on whatever. Like, and it's like people want to rant. You can rant in real life. Nobody's gonna be offended by it. Like you can be who you are. Like come as you are, but also like be a part of the fact that we want to collaborate and create going forward. And the school's not doing it, so maybe we have to do it, right? Maybe and maybe that's what we're going to start. So yeah, come to Calvin's Corner. We're going to have a Calvin themed. We call it Calvin's Corner. 160. We'll have some. You'll notice it. I'm trying my best to Calvin it out, and think of ways to do that. So that'll be.
I got a number
something
7
fun.
jersey.
That's
I
right.
just dug it out the closet. No, I
Yeah,
dug it out the
yeah.
closet. So
Well, the school is encouraging people, and I don't think this is a bad idea, to do the Aloha shirts, for the seniors, and I think the students will love that and participate in that. So that'll be kind of exciting, and let's do that. And like that's what I say. I support whenever the school wants to make a theme, make a color.
Yeah.
We're always waiting to
Okay.
see, and then
I
we're always
didn't-
there to support. And that's the
I
thing
didn't
is like.
see that. So that's what they're promoting.
Yeah,
Aloha
they
shirt.
promote it on
Aloha
Twitter.
shirt to say
Oh,
hello.
I didn't even see that.
Okay. That's another thing. Shane Lalauhead didn't see it
I
because
didn't even
they
see
don't
it.
promote it enough. Exactly. I just happened to be on Twitter and saw it. But exactly. It's not being promoted enough because it's not a part of something. Because
Okay.
they just whatever. Do it if you
So-
find. No, what I'm saying, like the fact that you have to go and get information on your own, like go and
Yeah.
like is.
Because I saw Brad message or is everybody wearing aloha shirts? So I thought that was just his idea, but now I get it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
But I appreciate the two of you. Like I said, I mean that another reason that I stick around is because of people like you. I mean, and I definitely look up, like I said, to you too, because of the fact that you've been doing it for a while, even longer than me, but also the fact that I really believe you two are a part of a lot of the working class, not in a bad way, but the working in the most best way possible. Like you guys are what the Hawaii base has always been about. People who put in the work for their community, put in the work for themselves, spend their money, hard-earned money on this program. I get to I spend a lot on this program, but believe me, I reap my benefits. I'm there at all the games too. Like I'm leaving with memories, unless my memories bank gets totally erased, and in that case, I have to go back to the videos. But no, I mean, like I think that is much more noble. That's even more noble. Like that you guys have to. That's the most when I say about being taken advantage of. That's what bothers me. It's like these are the people that are really trying hard for you and like making it a part of their lives, not a part of. It's like a massive part of our lives being a part of this fan base. So I just wish that was made more important. But thank you. I appreciate the both of you, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your
I'm
wives
only,
a lot
I'm only
as well for
critical
supporting.
because
Thank you.
I'm only critical because I care, and I just
You're not
want the
critical,
best for this-
Yeah, exactly.
You're not-
I think I'm
Sean's just
critical.
getting started.
It's because
my-
we're passionate. That's what I always say. Is we're passionate. We criticize, we grumble because we want
we care.
We want this program to succeed
care,
more than
yeah.
anything in the world.
Yeah.
We've been around the block, so
Yeah, exactly.
so I don't know. Go Bows.
Go Bows.
Well, thanks for joining us. Like I said, go on hisportsfans.com. I'll have some tours. I'm slowly bringing them out. We got our SoFi tours coming up. Obviously, the Seahawks at the Rams will be in December, and the Chargers and the Chiefs will also be playing 4 days before that. So if you want to come to SoFi with me for any of those, reach out. I got a special tour or ticket or package or something, and those are the games that I have for you. I also have the biggest game of them all coming up in SoFi. It's the Super Bowl 56. So if you're able to make it to that, I am
Who
going
the
to be your
heck's
person.
gonna play in that game?
I don't know.
I don't know. What a weird season. Yeah.
And I think that's a positive thing about the NFL, and that's something that we love as NFL fans, is that it's really it's a lot more. There's more parity than it is before.
Yeah.
And
Get chance.
don't we want to say that? We don't want to say about get
Yeah.
chance, but don't we want to say that about UH though? Like to say get chance for things like national championship or championship. So that's where we are. But come join us, and on the road for UH game, come join us for NFL game. Like I said, at SoFi or wherever we go at HI Sports Fans. It's about you getting those pesky bucket list items crossed off, because this is a one short life that we all live, and every day goes by so fast. I mean, I think about 2 years ago being in Las Vegas in 2019, our Fuchs Gate, and I was like, man, that was 2 years ago. And then 2 years prior, what that game was like. And then 8 years ago, when I took my first Hawaii Sports Fans group, was 8 years ago. To Vegas, at least, was 2013. My first year was 2012, but my first Vegas group was 2013. And that was probably the lowest attended Vegas game ever. And I took my licks, but I really wanted to find ways that I could support the program and support this fan base and build it. And that's that's at the heart of Hawaii Sports Fans, is building this fan base, the Hawaii football fan base. When things like our tours are centered around them, know that it's for you to cheer along the Bows. Of course, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to force you to cheer for the Bows, but the point is, hey, let's go out there, let's cheer for our team together, and then let's have fun on the road and go to an NFL game maybe, and let's let Wayne do all the planning and do all the stressful stuff. So I thankfully have taken on the call from so many fans over the last 10 years now, but I'm ready to turn it up the next level. So please come and support hisportsfans.com. Just be a part of our contact list. Our mailing list is a huge support to me. This company has had a pandemic in which we couldn't do any tours, and I think that for me, it made me realize too how much stronger that desire is going to be. Not the fact that we couldn't do it for a year, but the fact that more people, how much more am I going to be able to help people? Because now that desire is stronger, that it was restricted. And I want people to really believe that about our UH team, to come out and be supportive regardless of the score. So many people in Vegas, so many people I'm so proud to see out there. So that spirit is there, and all of this criticism is there to bring that spirit back out, because Hawaii is about one thing, and aloha, and our culture and our love, and that's at the center of what we're saying and what we're doing. But mahalo for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Aloha.
Aloha.
I gotta
Bobo.
calm down.